We are live. Awesome.
Hold on, D.
Yeah.
Do you have the desire to be more? Then More
After
Apparel
this
will be apparel company for you.
You think they're gonna get those? We're gonna get ours? Come on, baby.
Of course.
More honesty, more honesty will inspire you.
Radio face and radio voice.
Family, and most importantly, your community. Take pride in yourself and your
I'm about to
team
make a demo
and
and
dream.
shout that shit around so
Visit our
I get
website
paid.
at www.moreapparelus.com. That's www.moreapparelus.com to get active today. And remember, it's MOR. Leave off the E for excuses.
All right, DSP.
What's going on, family? What is going on? Another great episode on deck. What's going on? Of course, I'm DSP. I'm with my guys, Brett Bronson of VOH Basketball, and my guy Z Bling
What up?
of MOR Apparel. How you fellas doing?
You know, we just happy to be here, man.
Yep.
Another Sunday, another glorious Sunday upon us. Bad news with the dog man, of course. R.I.P. to the
Yeah.
dog.
Can't forget Black Rob, neither,
Black
man.
Rob
Black
too,
Rob.
man. And what was crazy about Black Rob is like as the dog man was going, we saw the one video of Black Rob. Then the next day it was news he was going. That was crazy.
Yeah, bro. It's sad, man. A lot of people we grew up listening to is slowly but surely going away, bro.
I mean, I hope they start replaying all these Sundays of Never Tuck Your Turn radio of us telling you stop taking the big check. You feel me? Because y'all taking these big checks. Y'all got nothing to fall back on. This is what's happening.
That's
Right.
facts. That's
R.I.P.
facts.
to them. But, man, we got to get our business right out here. It's getting crazy.
That's good, man.
Speaking of being protected out here, DSP, we need that official intro.
Yeah, because I mean, this guest right here.
Oh, man.
This is pretty serious because y'all know how I feel about our community and
Absolutely.
how it's important to be educated on our past and applying that knowledge. And
Absolutely.
so when I seen this guest,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Got that feeling.
I was like, oh, this is right in my wheelbarrow.
Right.
You know what I'm
Off the
saying?
wheelbarrow.
Brett is
I gotta add the happens.
Brett's so cool. But no, we got somebody very profound, somebody very, pretty much the guy you hit up if you want boots on the ground,
Yep.
if you want things to get done.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And NAACP, Legal Defense Fund, national organizer.
National.
Oh,
I think
My dad asked me
Thank
yesterday, he's
you.
like, is he from Sweden? I said, nah, he's on a national
Thank
level
you
with
for
the NBA.
emphasizing that.
oh
Yeah.
man.
It's not just New York. It's not just New Jersey. It's not Connecticut.
Not that.
The entire United States.
You better check the time zones before you hit them up, yo.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, time zone rates apply on the consultation. Oh man.
So no, let's give a round of applause to our guy, Victor Dempsey. Thank you.
Shout out to Victor Dempsey. Yeah.
Thank you for coming out, brother, man.
And that intro's free, by the way. You know what I'm saying? DSP with the intro. Shout out to the chat people tuned in.
Word.
What's going on, Vic? How you feeling,
How you
brother?
feeling, Victor?
Listen, man, I appreciate the intro. It's beautiful, but I'm not here by myself. I'm with my colleague, my road dog, doing the work with me. Zaki Smith, you can introduce yourself, big bro.
Talk that talk.
Yeah, Zaki Smith, Brooklyn, New York.
Hey,
Brooklyn.
Well, here we go.
we gotta look the town.
Nah, just the way he said it, you know he got a Dat Piff. He got a Dat Piff mixtape somewhere. You heard how he said that.
Absolutely. You know, Brooklyn is every building.
Talk
So
that
just
talk,
let
baby.
it be clear. Yeah, Zaki Smith, policy entrepreneur for the next 100. Same thing, boots on the ground, working to dismantle this raggedy ass system.
Yeah.
wait,
Ass is okay. Ass is okay.
Ass is good.
Family friendly.
Ass is okay.
FM
Gotcha.
radio.
Yeah, we got that donation bin. Don't worry about it. First is cost. First is cost.
Gotcha.
I like that. Curse is called. Something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Looking to end the perpetual punishment as it pertains to those with criminal records
Yeah.
in the nation, to be honest, but specifically working here in the state of New York. So.
Okay.
I mean, that's a good point about, because a lot of people have criminal histories, and sometimes it's not so quote-unquote criminal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's legal in Cali and in Denver, but it's criminal here.
Yeah.
You know, so, some people get behind the ball, we'll say, and then it's hard to get ahead. So I'm glad that you guys are here to clear up a few things to let people know, like, yo, okay, you got behind the ball, but you can still
Recover.
get ahead. You can still recover, man.
Word.
So my fault, Vic.
Nah, you Gucci, man. I just definitely want to give my brother some love in there. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, Brett. You know, thanks for taking my call. Let's talk about that. Okay. Thanks for taking my call. But yeah, man, we here now, and I'm not gonna lie, man. The intro was dope, but you know, I'm here today because me and Brad's known each other for years now. You know what I mean? It was a time where I couldn't even start to have a conversation like this. So really, it's not just about the work, but it's about how to get to the work. It's about how to educate yourself, feel empowered enough to be able to come out and talk about the work that needs to get done. You know what I mean? So I think you guys said it best, boots on the ground. You know what I mean? The only way that folks can get there is if we have the intelligence and the knowledge to know how to get there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think one thing I do want to highlight before we jump in everything else is we had a lot of killings this past week.
Talk about it, bro. Talk about it, bro.
And it sucks. And my mask, for those who can't see, you know, I'm also not just an organizer, but I'm an impacted community member. My brother, Daron Small, loved Spring Valley, lived out here for a few years, also known as FUBU.
Never talk your time.
This guy shows.
I'm just saying, you know.
He never misses a moment to never mind. Anyway, but yeah, man, I'm also the brother Daron Small. My brother was murdered July 4th, 2016 by an off-duty officer back in Brooklyn, New York. And I say that not for the empathy, but I say that because I was the same black man that didn't do nothing until it came to my doorstep. I say it all the time. I remember watching the news article when Eric Gardner was murdered. I was getting dressed that morning, getting ready for work. I just glanced at the news. I said, wow, they murdered another black man. And unfortunately, the rest of that day, I got dressed and went to work.
That's what a lot of people do. That's what a lot of people do.
But that's what the rat race is created for.
Yes.
To create that distraction, and people don't really get to sit with their feelings and want to get together and do something.
Bro, lately we scroll over RIPs.
Yep.
Fact.
Just keep it a buck.
Yep.
The way that the way that the times are now, it's like death is just a regular thing now.
Desensitized.
That's
very
but
desensitized.
that's by condition. That's by conditioning. Think about it. The first time we ever saw an MMA fight, like UFC,
you were like,
"Yo, this is crazy." Now we see it every day. It's like nothing. They're doing the same thing.
Knock the top off of
Exactly. Now they're just feeding us our people getting killed every week. So we desensitize.
Yeah, we normalize it. It becomes normal, something to be expected. You know, so.
So, you know, with all of that, you know, today we're here to definitely speak about a bill that there's a coalition around, there's a movement around right now that Zaki and myself are proud to be a part of. And we call it the Clean Slate New York campaign. You know, Clean Slate New York campaign at this particular moment. It's introduced in the Assembly and the Senate. We do have sponsors, but this bill is to push for automatic expungement.
Wow.
I want to say it one more time.
Say that one more time.
Break that down.
Say that one more time.
This bill that we're pushing now is a bill for automatic expungement.
Automatic expungement.
The Clean Slate New York campaign is a statewide coalition fighting for automatic expungement for criminal convictions. What that means is folks who have a criminal conviction, a misdemeanor or a felony of any kind, if this bill gets pushed through, we will have the capabilities, the government will have the capabilities to wipe the criminal history clean. I don't think
they don't hear you on this Sunday. They don't hear you on this Sunday.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
They don't hear you on this Sunday.
You out here dropping gems.
That's you,
big
brother.
mama gem drops, bro. Like that's huge, bro. That's huge, bro.
Yeah,
that's serious.
We're fighting
for
folks with a criminal conviction to erase it.
So let's not a criminal conviction, criminal convictions.
So your whole record.
So we're not. This bill is not to just say, oh, if you have one conviction or two convictions, you can have your criminal record expunged. No, we're saying multiple, pretty much unlimited, because we have to take in consideration the reality is that our communities have been over-policed. Right?
Yes.
They have criminalized addiction.
Yes.
They have criminalized mental health.
Yes.
And they've criminalized poverty. And so,
talk about it, brother.
If you was on drugs back in the 80s, Of course, you may have racked up 10 cases, right? Felonies, been up top a couple times.
Yep.
You understand? Came home, and now you got yourself clean. You're actually working in a rehab center as a counselor. That 20 years ago, like, that person is long gone.
That's
But
true.
But
That's
the
so
reality is, when you get a criminal record, it is for life. So
life.
everyone has a life sentence. So
Yep.
that you didn't just get sentenced to a 2 to 4, you got sentenced to a life bid.
Yes.
Pretty much. And the impact of that record affects you more severely than the prison time.
That's facts.
Because now you can't move on. You can't get a job. They can deny you housing. They can deny you anything.
Yep.
They run down you anytime they want.
Yeah,
to.
anytime.
Whatever, for the
Well,
rest
you
of
could get
your
a
life.
job. You could get a job per se, but from this list,
Yeah.
See, look, time out.
Right.
Let me address that real
Yes.
quick.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me address that real quick, right?
Yep.
You're right. A lot of us can get a job.
Absolutely.
A lot of people can get work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But with this bill, what we're pushing is for gainful,
Employment.
lasting employment.
Thank you.
It's a
Yes.
difference.
I wanted you to make sure that
I
there's a
think when we
difference.
talk about working,
Career.
it's a big difference. Exactly.
Yeah.
But think about a substance of life that you're living. Brad, you know me, bro. I'm from the streets. I love the intro, but I'm from the hood, man. I done been through the trenches and back. Of
course.
Yeah.
I chefed for years. I worked on lines. I was a cook. I was back there. When y'all enjoying your hard-earned money, coming out with your ladies, spending that bread on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, I'm back there chefing it up.
Yeah.
I'm working overtime, double time to really, provide for myself.
Yeah.
But now my substance of life is where? You get what I'm saying?
On that line
I feel
all the
you.
time.
We're talking
All
about
the time.
systematic oppression across the board.
Yes.
Absolutely.
This bill, it does not only address the criminal conviction status of this, but this bill has numerous purviews, right? We're looking at it as a community building type
Yeah.
of bill.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
reason why we say community building is because me and Zaki been busting our butts to do base building. That's what we drove up here. We out. Yeah, we going to Rockland. Come
Yeah.
on, let's go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But what we're trying to tell folks is everyone has to be at the table. Everybody's
That's true.
voice
Yep.
has to be at the table.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be real with you. We said at the top of the show, and I'm not scared to talk about it. This bill is inclusive for every type of charge there is for everybody. So I'm gonna be real with y'all.
When you
Yes.
say every year,
Yes.
that's why you
Let's
hear
talk
me.
about it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
It is
let's
what
talk
it is.
about them other charges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
What about them other charges?
I'm gonna throw it out there. Yes, I'm also talking about violent murder cases.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm also talking about sexual nature offenses.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Now here's the trick. Not a trick, excuse me. I'm not saying the trick because again,
Loophole.
we're not even a loophole.
Okay.
Certain things this legislation just doesn't cover. We're not taking
Okay.
on the parole aspect. We're not
Okay.
taking on that. We can't. That's
Right.
out
Yeah.
of purview. So unfortunately, even though automatic expungement is gonna happen, and we pray that this gets passed, if you're on probation, parole, or on a registered sex offenders list, unfortunately, you will not be eligible
For this. Okay.
You
Yeah.
have to be off of all state supervision.
Okay.
You have to be
Okay.
off parole. You have to be off probation.
Glad y'all clarified
You
that.
cannot be on the sex offender registry. If
Yeah.
you're on it, you are not eligible for this particular bill.
Makes
And let
sense.
me explain why.
No
right?
strings attached.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that plays a big part.
Mm-hmm.
I want dudes to know that. And again, I'm gonna keep coming back to that title. I might have to pay for that. I might need that. I might
Just
need
get
that in
the
the
promo
portfolio.
code.
You know?
Just get the promo code.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
But the reason why that is big is because I sit here today being formerly incarcerated. I sit here today being formerly gang involved. Those
Okay.
who know me. Like, they know me. You
Yo,
feel me?
Never Talk Your Time Radio.
Brett trying to sit there like, you feel me?
Remember Snoop Dogg? Hey, we got it on footage, you heard? We got it on footage. But
Everybody got a pass. You know how it
Nah,
go.
Of course.
it's a fact, though. Everybody does. But again, at the same time, like my brother Zaki said, perpetual punishment has to end.
Yes.
Why do I have to be held accountable
That is
for
a beautiful
mistakes?
term.
Yeah.
For mistakes
I
that
see
I
you got
made
it on
as
the
a
shirt
child.
too, brother.
But yeah,
Perpetual
so
punishment.
and perpetual punishment. Yeah,
That's
so
a crazy term.
So you bring up being held accountable, right? I want to actually just make a distinction between accountability, right? Because currently the system that we have is not about accountability.
No.
We've been led to believe that you going to prison you're being accountable, right?
Yeah.
The reality is we don't have an accountability system. We have a punishment system.
That's
There's a
facts.
distinction between punishment and accountability.
Yes.
Accountability means both parties are restored in this particular situation. The one who has perpetrated the crime and the victim of the crime are restored. There's some healing. Something happens. There's some restoration that happens. There's some work that actually happened. In punishment, I ain't got to do nothing but sit up and take my bid. I don't never have to think about my crime. And the person who may have been a victim of a crime that I commit will probably never be healed, because the prosecution's interest is only to continue to perpetuate the system. So when it's time for me to go to parole board, what they do? They call a victim to come back and now open that wound. That is a crime.
Yo, this guy right here.
That's crazy.
But hold up, let's go
That's
deeper.
profound. That is profound.
It's a little different in here today. It's a little different on this Sunday.
But watch, now we backpedal to again why it's inclusive, why everybody's voice is at the table. Again, to victims and survivors of crime. I've been a victim of a crime myself.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? I perpetuated crime also. But when we talk about community building, why isn't everybody's voice there, including the folks who perpetrated? Because you want to know why? Parole and probation exists because at one day that same perpetrator will re-enter that same community. What are we doing to ensure a safe transition where these folks don't re-offend?
Gotcha.
Wiping the record gives a person an opportunity.
Yes.
Right.
When I first came home, I promise you, when I first came home, I went to jail at 17 years old, bro. With 5 joints up north. When I got out, I had a violent felony. Only jobs I could honestly get was construction,
factory,
cooking.
warehouse.
I did all that.
Blue collar.
And mentally, it changed my mentality. I wasn't reaching anymore. I'm just stuck. There's no, I can't get past that.
In a loop.
But that's
low ceiling.
so that is actually intentional. The intentionality of this all is really about economics. How can we keep this community in this economic bracket? So you cannot go above this particular plateau here.
We'll always need laborers.
And look,
absolutely.
And watch this.
That's the real problem.
Let me tell you something.
Feel me?
We didn't come up here like, I appreciate the candid conversation, right? But we work with numbers too.
Oh no!
Okay,
Let me hear some numbers.
Very well
Let me hear some
don't
numbers.
lie.
Let me hear some numbers.
They don't lie. So real quick, back to some kind of this criteria of this bill, right? It's 2 tiers to this. The first tier is, let's say hypothetically speaking, just follow me, y'all. I go to court, I cop out. I take a plea bargain. 5 years. Took my 5 years. That day me getting sentenced, my time is starting when it's due. I go up north, do whatever I got to do. Now I'm getting ready to come home. But guess what? With that 5 years, I also received 5 years post-release supervision. That's 5 years parole. That's 10 years.
That's 10 years.
5 and 5. A supervision, you feel me? So mind you, now I get home, like I said, my time starts. Within 3 years of your sentencing or your time thing, your time will count. But right now, currently, we have a law called 160.59. That is a New York State sealing law. A lot of people don't even know it's in place, unfortunately. But right now, we have that. It currently exists. This law allows us to help folks seal criminal conviction. But here's a caveat. We can only seal up to 2 maximum convictions. That's either 1 felony conviction, non-violent, non-sexual offense. You know what I'm saying? So 1 and 1 misdemeanor. The other way we can do it is if you have 2 misdemeanors, we can get rid of those. Not get rid of, sorry. I gotta watch my choice.
Seal it.
We can seal it. But the problem with this is, again, you know how many people I know with 3 misdemeanors? You know how many people I know with just a felony, an E felony, and a misdemeanor? So the current sealing law is very narrow. It doesn't impact New Yorkers. So the process in there was, I did over 500 of them, bro. I'm not joking. Manually fingerprinting people, meeting with them in person, manually, finger to ink to paper. We got to request the rap sheets. The rap sheets come back, I survey them, see what they're eligible for. If they can't get the current sealing law, then we set them up with either certificate of good conduct, certificate of relief, or at the very least, clean up their rap sheet. Boom. I'm going to move fast. Now the problem, so that's the first one. It's the first 1 year for a misdemeanor, we can seal it under this law. Or it's 3 years for a felony under this law to seal it. Now that's step 1. Step 2 is...
Wait, just to slow down. It's 3 years to do that process, you mean?
So under this particular law, what we're pushing right now, currently, it's a 2-tier process. Right? The 2-tier process is 1 year for a misdemeanor, after your 1 year, if you're not on parole and probation, you can have your record sealed.
Okay.
Sealed so that you can get into, you can start work.
Yes.
You can start your life.
Real
Right.
work. Yeah.
Right.
Your career.
So,
Yes.
businesses can no longer, they cannot see your record.
Yes.
Right?
That's perfect.
For
That's dope.
felons, it's 3 years.
Okay.
Sealed.
Okay.
Right? After that is what we call full expungement. So
Okay.
for misdemeanors, it's 3,
Yeah.
and for felons, it's 7.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's 7 years for full-on expungement. So systems operators and so forth and so on can no longer see your record.
Oh, wow.
So what he was also talking about in the current bill, there's a bill that many individuals, like he said, have no
No
knowledge
idea.
of, 150.69, which he said,
150.69 for all my guys out there.
Right.
Y'all know who y'all look that up.
look it
Sorry,
up.
160.59.
Yeah,
160.59.
59. Look that up.
And so in this particular bill, you're only able to seal 2, like he said, 2 convictions. The problem with it is, like he just finished saying, he did 500 of them, right? When the bill came, it was over 600,000 people in New York would be eligible to receive relief from this particular bill. To date, 3,500 individuals have received relief.
Wow.
That's less than 1%.
Wait. Do
And
those,
how long-
do those
how
numbers
long-
again.
This-
65,000.
600,000
eligible.
were
eligible.
And only 3,500.
from
Right.
2017 to date, right?
Wow.
And so because
That's
just like he
crazy.
was explaining,
Information. They don't know.
Yeah.
it's not
that's-
even that. The fact is, and this is why we're doing automatic, because like he said, if a person don't know that services like this exist, you're a lay person. You have to actually do this yourself.
Yeah.
So the people who don't take advantage of it is who? The people of color, the communities of color who don't have
But
access
now,
to
hold on.
attorneys.
Let me throw this in there real quick, right?
Right.
Because I'm all about breaking it down. So 'cause I need our community members, the listeners, the watchers, to let it resonate with you. The sealing process is a manual process. I have to fingerprint them. I have
Correct.
to do this.
Correct.
People who don't know, they got to go hire an attorney. They got to get this. That costs money.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Lot of
So now we talked about that economic bias earlier.
Yes.
People in the hood, we got other problems. We got to make sure our
Gotta
lights
keep
stay
the
on. We
lights
don't
on
got
the
money
food
to
and
stick
not
out
affording that with my
five
overnight
bands.
jobs.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's facts.
So now automatic expungement, we don't got to think about it. It just happens.
Wow.
It just happens.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying?
The same way as parole does, the same
Yeah.
way as my release date does.
Mhm.
All of that has an end. It
Yes.
has an end date.
And
Right.
now, and also,
Wow.
let's add in this when we talk about numbers. We didn't just
that
come
makes
up
sense.
with the 7 years out of thin air. Statistics show that the average convicted persons who return to society, if they have not reoffended, within 3 years, chances are after their 7th year, they're rehabilitated in some form.
In some form.
Yeah.
And to me, when I look at my life, I'm like, oh, that's right. Because I'm being real. I first came home, I was doing all right.
Yeah.
I was dipping and dabbling,
Heard
trying
you.
to do what I do.
Don't
I got
say-
violated. I
Don't say
went
too
back.
much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
The violation hurt me the most. I did 5 years, then I was home for a little bit, and then they sent me back up to the boot camp for 6 months.
Oh.
I lost more stuff within the 6 months than I did with 5 years. So now, fast forward, I come back home again. I'm not going back. I can't do this. So now I'm way past. I surpassed 7 years already.
Yeah.
I'm Gucci, but guess what, fellas? With this current civil law, remember we said we can't sell violent felonies or sex offenses.
Yeah.
Correct.
I still have a violent felony on my record. I traveled the country helping people.
Yeah.
Like I'm on committees, I'm suing elected officials, I do all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
So-
can't get relief for yourself.
Can't get relief for myself under the current law.
That's crazy.
But what, the message is, seriously, man, the message is, it's not only about us giving the knowledge, it's about how do I give the knowledge back to folks so they can give it to other people.
So they can apply it.
We can do whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is, again, we have to address these systems. We have
Correct.
to address that. I'm fortunate to be in a position because I was around folks. I'm not going to lie. Like I said earlier, I watched Eric Garner get killed on the news, and I went to work. I didn't get active till it came to my doorstep when they took my brother from me.
Yeah.
And I can't hold you.
Yeah.
My brother's the reason why I'm sitting here with y'all today. Real talk. Because I said I can never get my brother back. He's not coming back.
And you don't want to see that happen.
But I
to
don't
somebody
need
else.
none of y'all getting the same fall I got before.
Word.
I don't need my 5-year-old son doing this type of fight 20 years from now. So what can I do today?
Yeah.
So that's what I ask
That's
everybody
powerful.
now. What do we do today?
That's powerful.
And also when we talk about like getting involved, Like, listen, man, reality, everybody's not going to be an activist. That's just not what it is,
Not
right?
right. You got to be a leader to be a
Listen,
leader.
Be front line.
Everybody's not going to be boots on the ground, right?
Right.
And so a lot of people, a lot of times in the community, we figure like if we not that, then we just do nothing, or we're just disengaged with the system, but rightfully so disengaged with the system because this is the same system that has ostracized us. So there's a lack of trust in it.
Yes.
But what we're saying is that if your voice isn't at the table, somebody will utilize their voice
To speak
To
for you.
to
represent
speak
for
for
you.
you. So we're not saying, hey, come out and protest. No, you don't even have to do that. Listen, just know who your local elected official is
We done
in your
protest.
community.
Yeah.
Period. That know who that person is and know the things that has impacted your community so that this person is held accountable in addressing it from a policy. Because
That's-
listen, whether you believe it or
That's
not,
important.
everything is rooted in a policy and some language somewhere. If
Yes.
you are impacted in any
Legally.
kind of way,
Yes.
there's somebody that wrote something
Yes.
that park over there is twisted because a policy was written or
Yes.
was not written.
That's facts.
Simple.
Period. And
We
so,
got bars today.
so I'm
bro.
just saying, like, we just need to be aware, at least on just a basic level, and just be registered to vote and understand who you voting for and who's representing you.
Yes.
Period.
Really out there.
Who's
responsible.
representing you?
Yes.
Yeah.
They work for you, right?
Yeah.
Don't just vote and think, hey, they're going to go in there and they're going to do X, Y, Z. No, you can go right
Yes.
to their door
Yep.
Yeah.
and say, hey, listen, this building over here, or this is impacting us here. This is what we need. We need legislation to address this particular situation.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Yo,
Hold
we
them
used to
accountable.
have a 5-star mixtape called Who Represents You. Man,
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
No.
Funny.
I want to paint another picture. I'm being real. Me, I'm always conscious of top is money, baby.
Yo,
Yeah.
and just because I feel y'all rushing through, I feel like we gotta have them back as the only guest so y'all can really
So they
talk
can
that
really
talk
get
for
into
full
it,
2
yeah.
hours,
See
you know?
that what I told you.
I'm
What
not
I
gonna
told
say
you,
nothing.
bro. Though you don't gotta
I
say
see
that.
it.
I told you gotta set. I set these things up, player. I said don't worry about that.
That was the
Because
album.
behind the scenes he was like, "Yo, man, I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna need more time." I said, "Don't worry about this. You gonna get through this, and they're gonna tell you need more time. So don't worry about it."
That's why he looked at you like,
Yeah, that's why I looked at him like, "Yeah, I
No,
told
because
you."
you know what? I'm not gonna hold you. We do this regularly. Like you'll send
This is our
invites.
intro. This is just an intro.
We
DSP.
do- Nah, really.
DSP.
That's what I'm about. I'm about empowerment. I'm
Yes.
about
Yes.
spreading like he said. Everybody's not a leader, but again, some people might be good at communication. Some people
Yeah.
might be good at graphics.
Yeah.
Anything to get the message out.
Anything
I
to
have
help.
the talent.
Yep.
That's a fact.
But you know, the biggest thing in full circle for everything. Why does it matter today, right? Let me tell you something. Real talk. So, like you said in the intro, I work for a legal defense firm.
Uh-oh.
This is a real document. Real document. We wrote something up after the young man, you know, rest in peace, Adam Toledo out of Chicago, a little
Yes.
13-year-old young man that was murdered.
R.I.P. man.
You know what I mean? R.I.P. Wayne Wright,
Yes.
also murdered out in Minneapolis. 20-year-old young man, a father, a son,
Don't
brother,
say right.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I bring that up because this bill also reflects our youth. This bill also reflects our family members. In both of those situations, matter of fact, forget rest in peace of those folks, but think about this.
Yeah.
Every time you've seen a black or brown person murdered and they airing it on the media, what do they do to the victim that's murdered? What do you hear in the news?
They criminalize them.
They, yeah,
They-
vilify
criminal
them.
record.
They-
First
yeah.
thing is the
Like it's
background
their
check.
fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
It's
they
their
deserved
fault.
it almost.
You get them?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
real talk.
Always
It's
the
their
background
fault.
check first.
Yep.
But what you don't hear is these officers' records. These officers, these cities that's
Yes.
paying out hundreds
Talk
of
about
millions
it.
of taxpayers'
Yeah,
dollars.
exactly.
You don't hear that.
Nope.
So another thing that we're saying is, and the murder of Wright.
Yeah.
The officer said, "Oh, it was because of the air freshener hanging the thing."
Yeah.
But he also had a misdemeanor warrant.
Yeah. And I was like, what does that have to do with
mean?
anything?
But
yeah.
I bet you if
Nah.
I
I
don't
bet you if
get
they
it.
got these things anyway, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that think about a bill like this that's impactful to somebody where, all right, I know I have a felony, but I'm not gonna lie to you. You see, road, you see how I drive? I drive smooth. I'm out. But in the back of my mind, I drive looking at the side of the road.
Yes.
Because I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
be pulled
Yes.
over. I don't
We
want
all do.
anything
Talk about that,
misconstrued.
brother.
I
Yes.
don't. So imagine we had a bill that just clears your record so an officer doesn't have a reason to engage with our community members.
Yeah.
Now this bill goes into
Yes.
saving lives.
Yes.
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 You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yes.
Yep.
And again, I want to backtrack because to me it's extremely important. Talking to victims and survivors of crimes.
Yep.
I need to hear their voice. I want them to
Yes.
call and I want them to check in because you know what? Maybe you have a suggestion. Maybe you have an answer actually.
Maybe they have an idea.
Because this
Yeah.
bill is not any erasure of trauma. We can't take
No,
that
you can't
away.
do that. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we want to acknowledge it and say we have to do better as a people
Community,
to make
yeah.
sure our communities aren't being, not only do we have to worry about what's going on in the community, we got to worry about the police too.
Yeah.
Something got to give.
Yeah, that's true.
And the truth of the matter is like we have to take in consideration the only depiction, the only victim of crime that is being depicted in media is only one type of victim, and that is the very vengeful, right? This vengeful, and not saying that individuals don't have the right to be in that space, but that is the only victim that we get to see. As if this is the only type of victim, but that victim only supports the current system that exists.
Yeah.
There are plenty victims of crime who are speaking abolition of prisons,
Yes.
want relief for formerly incarcerated, want healings, who have overcome some of the obstacles, but you don't see or hear that victim. You hear the crying mother who has lost her child, or the crying father who is saying they want, blood is on their
yes.
hands. You hear that. So now it continues to echo the punishment system that exists now.
Yes.
Right? But the thing is, we need to really take control of the narrative and show that no, there is more than one victim of crime, and we're not taking away from anyone's pain and trauma and how they feel, because rightfully so. But when the system is absent of providing healing to get people beyond that process, how is it again that a person can come 10, 20, and again, we don't want to put a time limit on a person's healing, but what has been a responsibility of the state to say, how do we take this person through a process of healing so that 10 years from now, they're not day one as if the incident has happened.
Yeah. That's so true, though. Now that he's mentioned
How does that happen?
I never ever see
that is
them
criminal.
asking, "What can we do for the victim?"
But they don't want to do
They
that
don't
because
care.
how do they keep this narrative going
Exactly.
so that the next time it happens again,
That's the
they can do the
fear-mongering.
same thing?
Exactly.
How they can keep making money?
Safety.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
There's this safety.
Now I want to know something else too, really quick, because it's a lot. It's a lot that happens.
It is.
I
Yeah.
was talking to Brad not too long ago, right here in Rockland County. You know what I mean? I was just speaking with some members of the NAACP Spring Valley chapter. Shout out to Calvin. Shout out to
Huge shout out to
Anna
them.
Yoga.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I just started working with them. Right now here, they're fighting against the school system.
Yes.
They're fighting
We
the
know.
school
Yep.
system.
We know.
They're
Yes.
saying that the education system in Rockland is the new Jim Crow of education.
It is.
Yeah.
The public school system is not getting what they deserve out here.
Yeah.
At all.
Not at all.
It's serious.
But then
brother.
They don't have
you
any
want to know
program.
how real serious it is? I'm gonna let y'all do the homework on it. Look at the board members. Look at who sits
Yes.
in that board.
Oh, we already
Trust
know.
me. We know.
know.
We know.
Yeah.
We know. We know.
Real
We
talk.
know. Yeah,
You
it's
already
crazy.
So now
it's
we're talking
crazy.
about education. Education.
Yes. The
Education
foundation.
equity.
Yes.
Just giving our kids
Yes.
a chance from the beginning. So they don't have to worry about all the suppressive systems while they're trying to live
We
life.
need our own schools,
But
bro. We
here-
need our own curriculum. We need teachers, our own teachers. We need our own police. We need our own ambulance. We
But
need
here-
to build our own.
The reality is this too, right? As we talk about crime, we talk about safety, the thing is that we need to talk about also the contributors, the things that breed crime. And so one of the major things, we talk about one of the major things that are breeders that fuel crime is how do we get the poorest of education?
Yes.
Right? So when we look in the 80s, when we're talking about economics, we're talking about education. If you can go and do the research,
Yeah,
like
no.
all of the schools were being closed and defunded.
Yes.
It wasn't right. And what were they doing at this particular time? They were opening up all of the prisons upstate.
Upstate,
80,
yes.
85. Look
Yes.
at when the prisons were starting to open up state under
Reagan?
Cuomo, his father.
His dad.
83, 4,
Oh,
5,
man.
6,
Never
7.
Your town radio.
Talk that talk.
Listen to me. Listen
Talk
to me.
that talk.
This is not.
We're
You
gonna get
can
us in trouble, bro. We already took our bridge. He already took our bridge, bro.
Yo, I
You
forgot
gotta get
that
us in
was
trouble,
his
bro.
dad.
I'm just putting it out there. And so we have to look at the things
that's
that
crazy.
breed crime. We have to also take in consideration the things that breed violence, right?
Yes.
And so the things that breed violence is what? Isolation, exposure to violence, inability to meet one's economic needs.
Poverty, yep.
You understand what I'm
Wow,
saying?
that's
Sounds like the project. That be the project?
Hold on. And what is the penitentiary? Isolation,
Yeah.
exposure to violence,
no.
and then inability to eat.
Poverty, yeah.
So I'm just saying.
And then wait, as you're saying that, right? You know, it's funny to me, like when you think about like past, like slavery, right?
Yeah.
And then you were at your master's plantation, and then when it was time for you to be free, just like when you get out of jail and you're quote unquote free, they just release you.
Yep. To what?
To what?
You don't
Where
know
you
what's
released
going.
you.
Yeah.
To nothing.
Yes.
What are you doing when you're released? And then you're released with this stamp because you were branded back then,
Yes.
right? But now the new branding is your felony.
Yep.
So now you're released with this new branding. So
Yep.
how do you get a job? Where are you gonna work?
Yep.
How are you gonna provide for your family? So of
Systemic.
course you're gonna go back to what you know,
Systemic, man.
as usual, to get that fast money,
Yeah.
to keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? And then you get caught up again. You go do another bid. Usually by your second one, you figure it out. Like, all right, this ain't the thing for me. You get out. You want to do what you got to do, but now you can't.
Yeah.
Cause you still got this record.
Yeah, you
now
stuck.
it's 10 years
You're
later.
stuck.
You've been out that game. You've been out that life. You're not even thinking about that. But you're stuck
Your record.
because of this
And
thing on
again,
your
what is
record.
it?
It's crazy.
What is it? Perpetual punishment.
Correct. Yes.
Crazy.
Perpetual punishment.
But
Yes.
the other
Crazy.
thing that we didn't even really get into is the collateral consequences of this.
Mm.
It's deeper than that. And we know people that can't get housing. Like housing
Yes.
applications. People forget. They
Yes.
need that criminal record for where you want to live at.
Yeah.
Housing. Professional licensing. Your favorite barber.
Wow.
Guess how he became a barber?
And the
license.
thing.
He's registered in the Department of Labor. He submitted his background check.
Yeah.
Your home health aides, the people that
Yes.
take care of your elders.
Yeah.
That's professional licensing.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we also talk about when we speak to our legislators is the tax revenue.
Oh no, not the tax revenue.
Money.
Yeah.
We're not coming off, but we're trying to come off a pandemic.
Yeah.
And nobody was working. Business
No.
is
Yeah.
shut down.
Yes.
Correct.
The
Talk about
playing
it.
field needs to be level for people that's coming back to work. But guess what? The statistics say that average white Caucasian male with a felony
Uh-oh.
will get a job before an African American man with no conviction history.
Absolutely.
Statistics, and that's 1 in 7.
Whoa, and that's numbers.
That's
I want
called-
y'all.
that's called-
He's
that's
not.
called
He's
organic
not
connection.
making this up. This is
That's
numbers.
1 in 7. Real talk.
Numbers don't lie.
Crazy.
1 in
bro.
7. Seriously.
That's crazy.
So this bill
But it's not
again.
crazy because if you think about what they've been doing to us, it's
not
not
crazy.
crazy.
It's
bro.
systemic.
That's why we need
Yeah.
our own thing.
Organic
So,
connections,
this
man.
is
We
what
talk
we're here to
CEOs,
talk about
talk
all-
to
we
CEOs,
talk
you
about
know
that
the
all the
rules,
time.
man.
This is
Yeah.
what we're trying to explain to people. You know, it's not just the criminal impact. It's not just, dealing with the past. It's more than that.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
It's more than that. We're saying let's have some kind of economic equity in communities that need it so they can thrive.
Yes.
We're talking about this bill really affects people in 100 ways.
Yeah.
No, it
And
definitely.
we
It definitely
won't know
does.
until we really start to push and
Yeah.
have those conversations. But when we talk about the more people that's working in your municipality, the more taxes is coming in there.
Mm.
Why are we not giving people that? Everybody wins. It's a win-win situation.
Yes.
You don't want us to work because you rather just put us in the jail and make us work for $2 a week.
10 cents a
Correct.
day.
That's what you rather do
Yeah,
to
a
us.
lot
You
of
know what I'm
stuff to the
saying?
face.
Correct.
Real
It's
talk,
not
man.
about
crazy,
you
man.
winning.
It's about
And so
power.
just if we look at numbers again, it's 2.3 million individuals in the state of New York with a criminal record. So we're talking about, a bill of this magnitude will bring about relief
Oh, yes.
for many individuals in the state. It's past due.
But
They're doing
beyond.
this. They're doing this all over. You know what I mean? They're doing it in other states.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
not just
crazy
New
to
York.
me. This is
It's not
crazy,
just
man.
New York.
Michigan just got passed.
Just thinking
Okay.
about this is
This
crazy.
is-
Yeah, it's
2.5
real.
million, right? You just got to think about this. All right, so that's 2.5 million laborers, though.
Yes.
Right, so you got to remember when they're thinking about this bill, they're gonna think like, damn, that means that's 2.5 million people that now I got to give like real jobs.
Real jobs too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I'm just thinking about it from
Like,
their
it's
angle.
a paradigm
Why, like,
shift.
how dare they? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yep,
Like, that's
yep.
so crazy. Like, I don't know.
But you know what? The country needs it though. The city needs
Wow.
it.
This the
It's
state
not,
of New
now,
York. Yeah.
now they can't argue it
Yeah.
because we're so behind in
yes.
the deficit.
Yes.
Why would you even argue that?
Yeah.
We got readily able people that can work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want them not to do nothing? You
Yeah, I
want
mean-
them to keep committing
Yeah,
crimes?
it's because they keep the power. They keep making their money because they're gonna make the money off the privately owned
Gonna
prisons
make the
anyway.
money.
Yeah.
And then they put you in basically slave labor.
Yep.
They're gonna
Yep.
let you work for that $2 a week, like
Yep.
you said,
Mhm.
and they still got the power. They still got their products. They good.
$2 a week, player, and you get a raise if you work in the kitchen.
Crazy.
A raise. And then the crazy thing is, like, I was watching the joint with Wallow when he was like, yeah, you be in the jail with all these dudes that, you know, when they were out, like, they had it. You feel me?
Yep.
And then now you busting the table for $1. You know what I mean? But then when you get out, you're like, you don't want to go get a job.
Going hard too.
Yeah,
Going hard for that buck.
That's
Going hard
crazy.
for that buck in the can.
Yep.
Yeah, you working and making sure you on time and
That's crazy.
and all of that.
But you know what?
But then you come out and you don't want to, you know?
Right.
Not saying that everybody should do something to get their paper. Let me not ever get that confused. But you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You got to figure out your lane, figure out what you need to do, figure out the parameters of what you're doing, and do it right. Because this longevity money is where it's at.
Real quick,
bro.
right? I know our time is probably coming
Yeah,
to
do your
an end right
thing, do
now,
your
but I posted this up on my Instagram the other day because, you know, because of the trauma for my brother and my family, we go through it. Every time someone's murdered in America, we feel it. It's
You
like
feel it,
we get it
yeah.
over again. But I read this the other day because I was thinking about it. I'm like, why nobody's out here like we was last year? But then I remember we was in the pandemic. Nobody had to go to work.
Yeah,
Nobody had to go
Yeah.
to school.
Exactly.
But then I read this and it made sense. Hear me out. It said, I don't know if America really ever pauses to recognize how incredible it is for black folks to make art and invent things, earn degrees and influence global culture, lead movements, set trends, and raise families and communities, all while under the persistent threat of systematic racism, anti-black violence, and layers of inequity. It all seems superhuman, which is a large part of the problem.
And it is super.
Yeah.
The perception. The perception, yeah.
I thought, look, like I was talking to Brad. We, reconnect. I said, yo, bro, like we went back. We had to go back.
Hold on, player.
Like I had to tell this man how much. Nah, real talk. I had to tell this man how much he inspired me. Because we didn't talk like directly. We just say what up. I used to work for him. He used to be my boss. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, what's going on here on this show, man?
Yeah, tell the truth. Because probably like
Put me on the block, man.
Yo, first of all, yo, what's going? Yo, edit that out.
No ads. No ads.
All right.
make the colors pop on that.
We all know Brad used to do the little showcase events.
Yeah.
He was giving people a platform for
Yeah.
years.
Absolutely.
I did security for him. I was at the door, little
Okay.
big fella. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's paying me a
But I
little.
did trust you with the money, though.
He
That's
still
a
owe me
big.
money,
That's a
though.
big
Nah,
difference.
I'm
That gotta be true. He didn't even breathe.
You know that's a lie. Because Tucker Bronson too, I make sure I pay all them street debts. I pay all them street debts.
But now, real talk. I bring this up because that post has said to me everything that I knew Brett was going through, the thing that I didn't know he was going through. He was always finding a way to give people a platform.
Yep.
Basketball, music, whatever.
Football, backyard.
I even
football
told him
we played.
before when
All kinds of
Spring
stuff.
Valley used to have the basketball games in the joint. I said, that's how far back I remember me and you,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
And I used to just watch him like, yo, son's official. But
Lucky.
me giving him that praise and seeing that, I don't know what this man's dealing with behind closed doors, but he's dealing with family, what he's dealing with employment.
Of course.
We don't know. So a lot of black and brown people, we struggle and fight every single day to
Yes.
meet somebody.
Yes.
Right
Nobody realizes that.
Yes. Talk about it.
Nobody realizes
That's
that.
facts.
So some days I get mad because somebody won't repost a dope post.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in their life
Right.
today. So
That's
the best
facts.
thing I can do is at least give the knowledge and you put it to use when you're available.
Correct.
So sometimes we have to stop trying to hold people accountable and say, oh, they not real right, they not woke. You don't know what they're
You don't know
going
what they're
through.
going through. That's facts.
Yeah, I
Real
mean,
talk,
you know, it's just acknowledging that, you know, a lot of times we already working at a deficit,
That's
Yes.
a fact. Huge difference.
a huge deficit, and we just normalize working and doing work at a deficit.
That's
You know what I'm
facts.
saying? Like,
Correct.
That's facts.
yeah, we all could be here now, like doing what we do, but I'm, you know, working at a deficit because X, Y, Z is
Yeah.
happening.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Well, we definitely superhuman. We got that stardust in our melanin.
Yes.
They don't want us to know that though.
Yeah.
We
Big facts.
make it work no matter where you put us, no matter what type of
Oh,
situation.
one more
we
thing
make
I
it
want to
work.
bring. Real talk.
Go ahead.
You ever thought, all right, unfortunately, you know, shout out to all coaches and communities. You know, obviously there's been another uptick, you know, Asian American hate crime.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. If an Indian person, numerous of them wants to get hurt, what would we call that?
Indian hate crime.
Indian, all right.
That's what they would call it.
That's cool.
Whatever they call it on the news, that's what the
That's
word's
what
gonna
it
be.
Whoa, what'd you say?
Whatever they call it on the news, that's
Yeah.
what they're gonna call
Copy.
it.
If a Russian dude, a few Russians got beat up, what would we call that?
Whatever they could, Russian
hate crime.
Yeah.
You know how many people don't know Russia is a part of Asia? I mean,
Yes.
India is a part of Asia,
yes.
and Russia is the biggest continent
in Asia.
Why
Yes.
again, what you just said to me is whatever the media perpetrates.
Correct.
Yes.
They're one nation.
Yes.
Why is it separate?
Yes.
Exactly.
Talk about
When
it.
a white person gets hurt, do we call it Caucasian hate crime?
Nope.
Nah, 'cause they
No.
don't-
A black person beat up this white person.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a Spanish person beat up this. We're the only, the minorities are the only ones that's forced in separation.
Yes.
Correct.
That's
That-
forced in
That's
isolation.
because if we know the truth that we're not really minorities. If you brown, tan, anything, you the same.
Let's really,
And then
let's
we not the
unite.
minority.
let's
Yeah.
really talk about
Yeah.
it.
But they don't want to talk about
In
it.
the 50s and 60s, you know what?
Chill, DSP.
I'm gonna
They
relax.
ain't no
I'm gonna
Jamaica,
relax.
they ain't no Trinidad.
None of that.
That's all
None
we
of
all the
that.
same. Ain't
Yeah.
no Puerto Rico,
None of that.
Dominican
Oh
Republic. Ain't none
man,
of
yeah.
that.
When I
Oh,
bring
the
up that
tie-dye
point-
colors got y'all feeling good. Okay, I see y'all out here. Okay, I see y'all out here today. Trust your energy.
Fire. This is
I'm
fire.
aware, bro.
Oh, I like that.
That's bars, by the way.
Yeah.
I only bring that point up to say, we have to be there for each other.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Community is community. I don't care what it is.
Yep.
That's a fact.
We have to be there for each other.
Yep.
Bro, I grew up in the United Nations.
Yeah.
Indians on my
Pakistan.
block, Pakistan,
Yeah.
All that.
Cambodian,
Yep.
Haitians,
Yep.
Jamaicans, white.
all that.
That's what I'm saying. My whole block was
Puerto Rican,
everybody.
everything.
Dominicans, Puerto Rican, everything was on my block
Yeah.
growing up,
Yeah.
which was crazy because when I would go visit my family in the Bronx, and that whole place is just nothing but Jamaicans.
Jamaicans, yeah.
It's like y'all don't understand what I'm going through up there. Like y'all
Yeah.
the majority right here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
It's
facts.
way different when I come up here and,
Yeah.
and we don't got all these people that look like me to support me to do what we doing. Like
Yep.
down here,
Yep.
you got strength in numbers.
Yep.
Where I live, it ain't going down
Not-
like this.
Not so much.
But it's crazy that a 45-minute ride.
Yep.
How
One
crazy
bridge.
is that?
Right?
One bridge, a 45-minute ride, and the landscape changes.
Yep. Just like that.
So imagine what we not seeing.
That's by design, though, bro.
So,
It's all about design.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just wanted to say thank y'all brothers for pulling up because what y'all spoke about today, whew,
Yeah, this is my type of time.
y'all gotta come back.
That's a fact.
Like Z
Now,
said.
DSP, you gotta invite them to the platform.
Oh, no,
Really
no,
talk
no,
You
that
gotta let them
no,
talk
no.
that talk for the whole hour on the platform.
They
DSP.
are definitely getting the invite to the
Off camera,
podcast.
off camera.
But yeah, because on the podcast, I could just let them
Yeah, on
go.
the podcast,
They
it's
could
different.
just
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? But I definitely want them back here.
100.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of the information they're putting out there, a lot of people didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
You ever heard of an NYPD gang database?
Hold on.
Wait.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Yo, that's
chill.
what I'm saying. There's so much
chill.
things.
We
Yo,
talk.
chill.
We gonna talk. Relax.
Oh, you thought that officer in your school was? Oh, my fault.
Yeah. No, he's right. He's right.
Talk.
But no, let them know how they can find
Please.
you and
Yeah,
everything.
please, man. So first up, I will say, as far as the coalition goes, for folks who's out there, I don't know if folks will see on. I'm actually going to leave this, but you can join this Clean Slate campaign. At least read up more on it, so you know how to
Please
speak
do your
about it.
research.
Sign the petition.
Sign the petition.
Please,
Big
please
facts.
sign the petition, please.
That petition should go to your local elected officials, and you can tell them that you care about what's going on. You can go to www.cleanslate. That's clean, like Mr. Clean Slate, SLATE.org.
CleanSlateNY.org.
NY.
CleanSlateNY.org.
Yeah, y'all pop that up.
Yeah, we got you.
I'll leave this for y'all, but real shit, man. It's
Nope. It's all right.
$100.
I know you got it. What was his title again? We know he got it. We know he got it. Send that cash app.
That ain't nothing but a first class upgrade on
Yeah,
your
send
flight.
that
this is
cash
why
app
I'm telling
business.
you, I'm a real person.
Yes,
man.
you
I'm
are.
a human.
Yes, yes.
I'm a little
Hey,
black
it's
boy
the
from
passion.
the hood.
Hey,
It's the
ain't
passion,
nothing
man.
wrong with that. We admire the passion,
Yeah.
man. Just that it costs you.
Respect the dollars, man.
Yeah.
But listen, www.cleanSlateNY.org/take action.
Yes.
The petition's up there. You can see the organization that's sponsoring this bill, that's behind this bill. We've got over 50, if I'm not mistaken. We're still working. You're looking at some of the base buildings. We have a big coalition. Shout out to our team. You know what I mean?
And the
If, yeah.
And the reality is that this bill goes nowhere. It goes nowhere if the community is not involved.
That's
if those
important.
who are directly impacted by something like this is not involved.
That's
Right?
important.
It's not making noise. The community has to make noise about it.
Powerful,
Period.
powerful.
And where can they find you too, brother?
Yeah, they, yeah.
Zaki the Barber, ZAKITHE BARBER on
Got
all
that.
platforms.
Got you.
And you can find me on Instagram at I am Dalron Small. Again, I am Dalron Small on Instagram, and Victor Dempsey on Facebook. Please follow me.
Please follow me.
Please follow the website. And I'm really asking folks to follow me specifically because I answer my inboxes. Inbox me, hit me up. If
Absolutely.
you want to know
Yep.
if there's a rally coming, if
Yep.
you want to know how to get involved.
Yep.
If you just need information, holla at me. Real talk.
CleanSlateNY.org. Don't forget. So DSP, I'll let you get the last words before we wrap this
I
up.
just, like I said, man, I gotta give these brothers their flowers because y'all are doing powerful things and keep up the great work. We will definitely be talking on the podcast for sure. And you guys are definitely more than welcome to come back because what y'all doing is very profound for sure.
I appreciate it.
So you already know.
You already know, man.
Fellas, thank you for pulling up.
Yeah,
As always, I'm sure we're going to have you on the platform again because this information is vital to our community.
Yes.
Vital. It's a big difference.
Man. All you gotta do is hit the line. We here.
You already. You
Now let's
already.
take this photo.
You already.
And we're coming up next, y'all.
Oh,
That was
yo, these headphones are loud.
That was
Goodie.
fire. The headphones are loud.
They were loud?
Holy.
You gotta let us know.
You gotta let me know. I would have turned it down.
Loud in a good way. Loud.